Hello, I'm Mariana King, and this is Where the Sidework Ends. After the great bake-well-to-heart marathon of the previous episode, I could not be more excited to turn to a simple, delicious Provençal bread, the Fougasse. This is a Paul Hollywood recipe, and it is delightful. I have already made this several times since I filmed this episode. For this dough, you need 500 grams of bread flour, 10 grams of fine salt, 7 grams of instant yeast, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 350 milliliters of warm water, and 2 teaspoons each of chopped fresh rosemary, sage, and thyme, plus a half a teaspoon of dried oregano. In the bowl of an electric mixer fitted with a dough hook, combine the flour, the yeast, salt, olive oil, and 3/4 of the warm water. You'll begin mixing on a low speed, and as the dough starts to come together, you'll slowly add the remaining water and then mix with the dough hook for about another 8 minutes on a medium speed. Then you'll add the fresh herbs and you'll mix with the mixer until they're evenly distributed throughout the dough. Once the herbs are incorporated, you'll place the dough in a lightly oiled plastic container with a lid. You'll turn the dough to coat lightly in olive oil, and you'll top it with the lid so it can rise until it's doubled in size. I like to, with a container like this, place a piece of tape on the outside of the container so I have a guide that will let me know when the dough has doubled in size. It helps to know where it began. You leave the dough to rise in a warm, dark place until it's doubled in size, about 50 minutes to an hour. This is summer in Los Angeles, so this little dough baby got a little overproved, but between you and me, it turned out fine. Combine equal parts all-purpose flour and semolina flour and use this to liberally dust your work surface. Then you'll pop your little dough baby right in the middle, press it into a rough circle, and cut it in half. Then place each piece of dough on a parchment-lined baking sheet, shape into a rough oval, and cut slits in a leaf pattern. That's 2 down the center and 6 along each side. Paul Hollywood says to use a pizza cutter, but I found that scissors worked better. Once your loaves are shaped, place them in a plastic bag to allow them to rise for another 20 minutes. While the dough is rising, preheat your oven to 430 degrees. Once the dough is light and puffy, you'll spritz it with a little bit of olive oil, sprinkle it with sea salt and the dried oregano before baking for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the Fougasse sounds hollow when you tap it on the base. While the bread is hot and fresh from the oven, drizzle with a good quality olive oil. I like California olive ranch personally. Sprinkle with sea salt and fresh herbs if you'd like. Then grab the second loaf, lather, rinse, and repeat. Fougasse is fun to say and fun to eat, and it makes your kitchen smell amazing while it's baking. This bread is delicious on its own, and it makes a lovely host gift for a party. It would also play nicely with goat cheese, prosciutto, and olives. I highly recommend this recipe. With a little bit of effort, you end up with a surprising, delicious addition to any bread basket. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna show these loaves some love, and I'll catch you next time where the sidework ends.